Is it freaking you out?
No.
Do you need
no,
a seatbelt?
Yeah. Shut up. You need a seatbelt. Hello, our wonderful neighbors. How are you? Have you
How are you?
joined our Patreon?
Yeah, you guys should check it out. It's patreon.com/wwtnpodcast.
You guys should actually tell your friends about us.
Yes, you should, because the best way to spread WWTN cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yeah.
All you have to do is repost all the posts that I post. Or I mean, that our assistant posts for us.
Yes.
Because we're too bougie to do that. We're so big. We don't have time for that anyway.
And actually, we're so big that we have people write our stories for us.
Yeah, we don't even write our own stories.
Nope, sure don't.
That would be so boring. I feel like I would not enjoy it as much if I had someone write my own story. Like, I don't know, maybe in like a crunch it would be helpful, but all the time to have someone write my own story, that's part of the fun of it, is that like I get to actually do the digging and get creeped out.
And you learn about it. That's a lot of podcasts do that.
It's silly Sallies. Yeah, guys.
Who's
come
going
on
first this week? Actually, I have a question for you first.
Oh, wait. Okay. Yep. Let's do a question.
So, would you rather... by the way, this is a trending topic right now on TikTok. So, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man you don't know or a bear?
Oh, a man I don't know, because I could run from him. I don't know. I don't feel confident against a bear. I feel confident I can kick someone's ass.
That's fair.
Bears are more unpredictable. Like, we don't know bears, but we know humans better. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like a bear, you just make a bunch of noise and it goes away.
Yeah, I ain't never be face to face with a bear. But also, I'm really, like, you didn't say what kind of man he is. Like, is he a nice man? Is he a creeper? Is he a bad man? Does he tell dad jokes? Is he hilarious? He could be my new best friend.
Bree here, and listening back on this, and I'm thinking, wow, this person's an idiot. Has she learned nothing from this podcast?
I'm going to say I want to be stuck with the man, because I could run away from him. I'm not stuck in the forest with him forever, am I?
I don't know.
Well, I'll find my way out eventually.
I think I would rather be stuck in the woods with a bear, because you just make noise and it would just go goodbye. You mind your own business, I'll mind my own business.
What if the bear comes back? Then you're paranoid the whole time. It's like, oh, what's that noise? It's a bear.
But he's not going to be hunting me. Bears don't hunt you.
True. It's not like a mountain lion. I still choose man. I'm a social butterfly. Oh, what was that?
Yes, you are.
Break something? Yes, I did. I did break something. My whole desk is probably going to collapse at some point. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I choose. Sticking with it.
I love it.
So 2 different kind of people here. One that can fight a bear and one that can't.
Whatever. That's not what I meant. I meant, like, I don't know this man.
I can't. I'm small. How am I supposed to make myself look big? I'm short.
Need to. You just literally, you could, like, just take a stick and hit it up against a bush, and the bear's going to be like, sorry, my bad, and we'll go away.
See, and this is why I take the man, because I don't know these things.
Well,
I'd be like, I'd make myself look like such an idiot, and I'd be like,
and the bear's just like staring at you like, what are you doing?
What is wrong with you?
Why is she growling at me?
Speaking of wild animals, on our way home from the beach yesterday, we saw, because we were in like a state park with the one we went to, and we saw like a bunch of deer on the way out, and they were just like right on the side of the road, like maybe like 10 feet away from the car. They're obviously used to people and pretty chill, and like we stopped and rolled down the windows and let the girls see them, and like they just like stared at us, and do you ever think that maybe they're just thinking, why do they just stare at us? What is their problem? What is wrong with these beings?
Yes.
What Or maybe like we're the ones in a glass cage and they're watching us. I don't know.
That I could believe.
It's trippy.
That I could believe. That made me think of a TikTok that I'm going to find and send to you while you are
Tell my story.
telling your story. Yeah. So
Oh.
I have a neighborhood story for you first. You ready?
Yeah.
It's from next door. And it says, all right. Okay. I would like to share something that took place last night. I had gone into bed and fell asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep on my back and, of course, change positions throughout the night. Last night was so scary, though. This hasn't happened in years. I laid on my back, and as I began to drift, it felt like someone jumped on my chest. I couldn't move. I was trying so hard, and then I broke out. I know what sleep paralysis is. However, I haven't had this in years. Why now? It continued to happen at least 7 to 8 times last night. I started to pray and called on God to help me. Eventually, I was able to go to sleep. What can I do to prevent this? Is it a demon trying to possess me? Does anyone believe in demons? Is it the lack of oxygen to the brain? Was it because I ate Panda Express last night? I couldn't keep it in anymore.
Is this you? Didn't you guys eat Panda
wasn't
Express
me.
last night?
I didn't write this. It was from next door. Oh my gosh.
That Panda Express does that to you. They call it the Demon Express.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, this isn't interesting. I thought I was just going to be like, oh, sleep paralysis. And I got to the last sentence.
Panda
like,
Express.
Oh my God.
Also, you're posting this on the neighborhood page.
It's so embarrassing.
What? I wish you knew what the comments were.
I know.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
jeez.
That is rich. That's good. All right. So since I have been having a hard time finding good like alien abduction stories or UFO stories, I figured I would update our listeners on the most recent UFO sightings and alien sightings that
Ooh,
have popped up in the
okay.
news. So I think I'll do this every once in a while. Not like, I don't know when, just whenever I get bored and I'm like, I need to change it up a little bit. I need some aliens in my life. That's why I'm wearing my alien shirt. So first off, we all know that there's been like an increase in UFO sightings, or it seems like
Yes.
there has been over the past couple years, like the giant random weather balloons that scared everyone half to death, which actually
Yeah,
was
what
just
was
China.
that?
It was China.
It was China. Okay.
So the government says it was China studying meteorology and they got blown way off path, like way, way off path. Like, how do you get blown that much off path? It sounds pretty sus.
And if they did, okay, hold on. If that was the case, no one from China was like, ring, ring, hello,
Oh, by the way, have you seen my balloon?
United States? If you see a balloon over there, well, it's for this reason. So sorry. But instead they were just like, we'll see if they even notice.
Yeah. And why was the government so hush hush about it? Why didn't they say anything about it right away? And there was one that went over where all of our nukes are. So that's pretty suspicious. It's pretty suspicious. And the government was like so like strict about people going near them and stuff. Anyway, so whatever. It's fine. That was fun when that happened. So on just on March 25th, it may have been April 25th. I may have gotten the date wrong.
Okay.
I want to say it was April because it popped up the other day. A passenger named Michelle Reyes was on a commercial flight above LaGuardia Airport when she captured footage of a mysterious flying cylinder out of her window. She claimed the first thing she did was email FAA, which is Federal Aviation Administration, to let them know what she saw. did not email her
Fair.
back, but she wanted to let them know, like, hey, is this hazardous? What's going on? You know, trying to let you know, like, I don't want us to crash into this. So they didn't email her back. Typical. So it also got sent to a state director of the Mutual UFO Network named Thomas Wortman. He spent several years studying UFOs in the skies for evidence of interplanetary visitors. Reviewing the footage, he said it was traveling roughly 2,500 feet and was relatively close to the plane. The object's altitude, shape, and location near a major commercial flight path appears to rule out that it could be a news helicopter, a drone, or a military aircraft. So let me see.
Okay.
I'm not done with it yet. Hang on. I'm just going to send it to you. What's with the neighbors? Do you see it? Did you get it?
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It just kind of like went by. So, guys, it's out her plane window. She's sitting in the window seat, and this black cylindrical thing just zooms on by while she's just recording a video out her window. And you can like pause it and everything and look, and it doesn't look like a plane or anything. So,
no, it can't be like a bird, nothing.
No, yeah. So the man also said that drones aren't supposed to fly at that altitude, at least legally, he said. If it were something related to military defense or law enforcement, you normally wouldn't see it so close to a major flight. That could be potentially hazardous.
Right.
The unusual round shape of the object struck him as intriguing because it debunks the theory that it was a second plane filmed at an odd angle. He said, it does not appear to be commercial aircraft because I don't see features like wings or a tail. The plane Reyes was aboard was roughly 15 minutes away from LaGuardia Airport, likely traveling at 230 miles per hour. And this thing zooms on by, so it's going way over 230 miles per hour when the video was shot. Ultimately, the footage does not seem to be doctored. So that is one of the instances so far this year that we have of a UFO sightings. And guys, there's like tons out there. I only got like a little bit. This next one is one that also went viral that I'm going to send to you. I'm going to let you just watch it ahead of time before. There's 2 videos.
Oh, I saw this on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, it went big on TikTok.
Am I watching both videos?
Yes, the second one is pretty crucial. What's with the neighbors? Do you see the figures in there? There's like tall black figures in the background. They're kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if they could be human figures, but they're very tall.
They're very tall. Yeah. They look like Slender Man, which I almost did a story on.
Yeah.
So, guys, look up the Miami alien sighting, whatever that's on TikTok. You'll be able to find it. Or if you've already heard of it, you probably already heard of it if you're on TikTok. So on January 1st, New Year's Day, 2024, videos from an outdoor mall in Miami went viral claiming that aliens had landed on Earth. So according to police, a group of roughly 50 teenagers caused a riot at Bayside Marketplace in Miami. Teens were supposedly setting off fireworks, which led to a panic, some assuming it was a shooting. So, of course, everybody's freaking out. Police were dispatched for the crowd control and to escort the kids out of there. However, with this viral video, it shows that the mall and witnesses in the background, and behind them, there's some abnormally tall figures, 3 of them in the background in the video, and the video kind of glitches or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Miami police said that aliens had nothing to do with it, and that there were no aliens, and that nothing is being withheld from the public. Well, of course you're going to say that nothing is being withheld from the public because you have to say that. So, according to a witness named Fitz, he claimed that he was there and said that he was out shopping with his family. His family then noticed a crowd of people running, so they followed the crowd because, like, they're running from something. We need to get out of here. He said his nephew then pointed behind them, and when they looked, they saw 3 10-foot tall figures. he seemed like he was pretty honest. He was telling the truth. I don't know that, obviously, but he seemed like he was telling the truth. So, and it looked like there was a wavy glitch going in and out. He said, like, not even in the video. He said, like, in person, there was like a glitch or something. He said that they were all black. You could see some facial features such as lips, eyes, and it seemed to just stand there and be observing everyone. But when it started to walk towards them, it glitched again.
No.
When they got to the police, which there were a lot of them, like 70 to 100 of police to be called to the mall for some kids setting off fireworks. That seems a lot to me, in my opinion.
That seems excessive.
Yes. Everyone told the police what had happened, and so the police was like, let's see everyone's phones, let's see the videos, let's see what you got. And they said that they didn't take a video, so they were good. Interestingly enough, there was no footage from the shops, which in my why is there not cameras everywhere? Like, aren't there usually cameras everywhere for security? So, like, why are we not seeing any footage to prove that there was nothing there? That's my thing.
Exactly. There's cameras
So
in the mall. Whatever.
yeah, exactly. It was an outdoor mall, but on the other hand, like, you usually have cameras for shoplifters and just for security purposes. There's cameras everywhere. And also, not only that, but to be on the skeptic side, why wasn't no one recording it, and why didn't anyone get a better video than this one person that got one video?
Right.
Like, today's day and age, everyone has a phone in their hand. And when you're in a panic, though, like, would you do that? So, I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. When that first came out, I remember seeing the headlines for it, and I was like, whatever. But then I, like, looked into it today, and I was like, it's pretty interesting. This next one is in Rock Springs, Wyoming. An attorney and longtime UFO investigator, Richard Beckwith, spotted something strange in the Wyoming sky, unlike anything else he had ever seen in his career. So he did end up capturing what it was on camera. He said, I've never seen a UFO before. I made this recording. Late in the evening on March 9th, Beckwith received a call from a friend who lives near Green River, about 15 miles southwest of Rock Springs. He grabbed his camera and tripod, and what he witnessed once he got there came as a shock. He watched the object pulsate, moving rapidly side to side. Beckwith isn't trying to prove the object was an alien spacecraft. He simply is trying to find out what it was. He has received a few potential leads on social media, but hasn't found any evidence to what it could be. Now, he has requested radar records from the FAA and connected with other witnesses. Gathering this information hopefully will help him find a reasonable explanation on what he had seen and to see if it is an unidentified flying object. Using the locations of the two different groups of witnesses, because some people did come forward, including himself, the angle and the distance between those two, the angles between them and the object, trigonometry and trigonometry thrown in there. He said, I should be able to pretty easily determine the location and get a good estimate of the size of the object. Right now, to what it is and what it was, I have no idea, he says. He has no idea what it is.
Okay. Well, I appreciate him going the lengths that he needs to go to prove what it needs to.
He studies UFOs or UFO, so, like, you know, it's kind of his job. So sense. You know, good to your job.
I just realized you're wearing your happy ending abduction shirt.
I didn't do this on purpose, but it was like, so the light, you can look it up, but it was like just look up UFO sighting in Rock Springs, Wyoming. You don't have to, but it's just like a light, and it like pulsates in the sky, like over and over and over, back and forth. It looks really weird. Looks like somebody's shaking like a flashlight.
What else would it be, though?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. So, during the solar eclipse in April that we just had, many residents in Texas were out watching the sun get covered and noticed a flying object pass through the eclipse as it reached its peak, and it just disappeared right through the clouds. This one's pretty short. So
I saw that on TikTok.
Yeah, it just like it was. I heard about it. I saw the headline for it again. I didn't click on it, and I was like, I'll have to look at that later, and I forgot to. So yeah, it was really cool. It was like did you watch it?
The video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched the video.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like a something you could see like a shadow of something behind the clouds, just like go right past like right during the peak of the eclipse. It's pretty weird timing if you find to say myself.
Very
So myself.
suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Very suspicious.
So, in the UK, across the pond, in March of 2024, a massive steel monolith nearly the height of a semi truck randomly popped up in Wales, and no one knows where it came from. Locals came across this 10-foot tall object on a hill in a Hay on Wye. I don't know what that is. In Hay on Wye Way, Hay on Way. It's a place. A resident, Richard Haynes, told the news he came across and while running out his normal like run path. He said, "I thought it looked big and bizarre. It might be a scientific media research thing collecting rainwater." What? But realized it was way too tall and strange for that. If you look this thing up, it's like this giant like flat looks like sheet metal. It looks like one thing of sheet metal that's like
I've
as
seen
tall
that
as
on TikTok.
yeah. Okay,
Sorry.
here. No,
This
yeah.
wasn't in there. This was somewhere else, though.
Hang on. But he realized it was way too tall and strange for that. He described it as a 10-foot tall triangular and definitely stainless steel. It was hollow and he said I'd imagine pretty light enough for two people to carry up and plant it on the ground. Another resident who came across it said it seemed perfectly leveled and steady despite weather being windy, which, I mean, if it's light enough for two people to lift, why wouldn't it blow over? So that's kind of weird. Evidently, this isn't the only mysterious monolith that has appeared in the world. In 2020, just months apart in Colorado and California and Utah, they also had similar objects that appeared randomly. What the heck is going on in the world?
What is it?
I don't know. Have you seen it?
I've seen the ones. It was like forever ago, but I saw the ones on.
It's like a tall, like it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But that is all I have for you on the UFO sightings and adventures that have been going on right now or lately.
That's so exciting. I hope
So
they come and visit us soon.
wear your tinfoil. And if you abduct me at night, give me free liposuction or something.
Yeah, like something nice.
If you're gonna pull out my organs and like dissect me and like, check out my insides, can you just like take some of it and keep it?
Takes just a little bit of fat.
Keep it. I always tell Josh that. He's like, what if UFOs come in at night? And I'm like, then they better take my fat.
Those are fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fun. Okay. So do you want me to tell you my story?
No, I want to be done.
I kind of want to take a nap. So I'm going to tell you about Kelly Cochran. So Kelly was born on June 5th, 1982, and grew up in Hobart, Indiana with her parents, Tim and Melanie, and her two younger siblings. Growing up, Kelly was described as a difficult child. She was not compliant. She was very difficult to manage. She did whatever she wanted and did not care about the consequences. In her teen years, Kelly was constantly getting into trouble at school. She would skip classes, get sent home from school, just not being a great kid. She would also disappear for days at a time. Her parents would never know if she was coming home, from school or not. They couldn't manage her. She did spend some time in an all-girls home, and she went through an experimental stage with hard drugs like heroin.
Oh, wow. She went for the hard stuff, right? Oh, wow.
She went, yeah. So she would take whatever she get her hands on. Her parents tried so hard to steer her in the right direction, but Kelly didn't care. She was also a massive manipulator. She would tell her parents, "Oh, I've stopped doing drugs, yada, yada, yada," but she didn't. She would play on their emotions and did whatever she wanted to in the end. Something that happened regularly was at the dinner table. Her family would be, sitting there eating dinner with the little little meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and Kelly would be on some sort of drug because she was every day, and she would just sit there and like sway back and forth, and then just face plant straight into her food.
Oh my gosh, into the mashed potatoes.
Into the mashed potatoes. It got to the point where her mom couldn't take it anymore. So, and she was also worried about her two younger kids. You know, she was making a bad influence. She was a bad influence on the kids.
Yeah.
So, as soon as Kelly turned 18, her parents kicked her out and they said, "You are not allowed to come back until you are clean." And believe it or not, at some point after they kicked her out, Kelly went to college and got a major in psychology and a minor in forensics.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, she was known to be an incredibly gifted individual and was very smart.
So clearly she got cleaned up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So let's back up a little bit. So I'm going to talk about when she was in college. So Kelly went to college. She was studying, and Kelly's mom's mom, Melanie, asked Kelly to move back in. Her mom was struggling with the grief and loss of her mother. She wanted to reunite the whole family, like, life's too short, we need to be together, blah, blah, blah. And Kelly was like, let me think about it. So Kelly's thinking about it, and because Kelly, everything that Kelly did in her life was, what do I get out of it? How does this, it was never about like, okay, yeah, let's reunite the family. That's good. No, Kelly's like, what do I get out of it? Like, how do I benefit from this? So she never did anything for anybody else, only for herself. So Kelly calls her back up and she's like, I'll move back in, but only under one condition. My boyfriend has to move in too. So her boyfriend is Jason Cochran. He was 4 years older than Kelly. He just happened to also be her parents' neighbor. So I don't know why
Wait, he had the
he's
same
stuck
last
moving one
name?
house over. I don't know what her maiden. I don't know what her. This is her. That's her married name.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Cochran is her married name. So just desperate to keep the family together and rekindle her relationship with Kelly, her mother agreed to these terms. So Jason and Kelly were toxic. So toxic. They would argue all the time, breaking up, getting back together. Melanie stated that Jason was a violent human being, but not towards people, which was interesting. Like, he would just like punch the wall and stuff. But Kelly was the one that was dominant and overbearing. Jason, so it's hard to describe. Like, he would get mad, but only because like Kelly's just like sitting there and he's just like irritated, you know, like, because he was actually very docile towards Kelly. He was quiet towards her unless they were arguing, but he waited on her hand and foot. So the times that he was mad, it was because like she just wouldn't shut up. So they, and also just like the drugs, the family tried to intervene and be like, hey, maybe this isn't working out, maybe both of you should move on. But Kelly and Jason were like, nah, fam, we're good. And in Kelly's mind, she thought her and Jason were made for each other. So on September 14th, 2002, Kelly and Jason got married. It was a happy, normal wedding in a church with family and friends, despite how much her family was opposed to the idea. So on the evening of their wedding night, you know, they're supposed to be like, oh, love you. But Kelly and Jason made a blood pact instead. So like a second vow. Blood vows.
Gross.
They agreed that if either of them cheated on the other, that the one that cheated would have to kill the person that they cheated with.
What?
So But so, like, if you cheated on Josh
Right.
with somebody,
Paul Rudd.
you were supposed to kill that person that you cheated with.
I want to kill Paul Rudd. I like him.
So it wouldn't be Josh killing Paul Rudd. It would
Oh,
be
okay.
you killing
You have
Paul
to do it.
Rudd.
So it's like torturing yourself.
Correct.
Okay. That makes sense. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
for.
So you're
Yeah.
welcome. So that's, do you see why I picked this story now?
Yes.
Because my sister got married yesterday, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
She got married yesterday, and I'm so happy for them.
Yay. Don't make a blood
Yay,
pact.
congratulations, Katie and Ryan. I love you guys.
Are they going
So,
to make a
back to
blood
my story.
vow?
Are you going to make a blood vow? So, after the wedding, they moved into their own home in the same town and started a pool maintenance business that they actually enjoyed doing. They were living a pretty normal, happy life. Everything seemed to be great. The honeymoon stage was great for them. As the months and years went by, things started to change. It started with Jason's mental health. It was said that Jason suffered from depression and low moods, and he was very vocal about his depression to Kelly. And instead of being there for him, she would just like dismiss his statements. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sad today," and she'd be like, "Shut up."
Wow.
I don't know if
Yeah.
those two
Yeah.
words came, but that's how I took it. She couldn't be bothered by his problems. She would actually be the one to antagonize him and put him in those moods also. So Jason would just like get on her nerves, and sometimes him just existing was enough to find the right buttons to push him into that depression. After years of running their business, Jason suffered a pretty serious back injury and completely gave out. He couldn't work anymore. He could hardly walk, or even perform sexually. This also caused them to fall into a serious debt because Kelly was the only one making money now. This was taking a toll on the relationship. They hardly left the house. Jason never left the house. Kelly resented him for this, and Jason felt belittled and worthless because he could not provide for his wife. This caused them to argue. And one time the arguing was so bad that Jason pulled out a gun and pointed it at Kelly. Luckily, it was not loaded. However, Kelly was convinced it was supposed to be loaded and fully believes that Jason wanted to kill her that day, but he forgot to load it. So,
Damn.
yeah. So this pushed the couple to a new stepping stone. They realized something needed to be changed. So they're like, we need to turn over a new leaf. Let's move 500 miles away to the upper peninsula of Michigan. Everyone was like, that's a random choice to move
Yeah,
there.
right.
Well, Kelly had a few reasons. She had the idea to essentially run away from her debt, and the laws for marijuana use was more lenient for Jason to use it for his back pain. And Kelly, I just want you to know, I don't know if you know this now or not, but you can't run away from your debt. It follows you.
Yeah, just,
So,
it doesn't just stay where we're at. It's like a shadow.
so they try to lay a fresh start and move on, but things started to slip into their old ways pretty quickly. Kelly was working multiple jobs, and Jason was sitting at home smoking weed and playing video games. But according to Kelly, she liked it that way. Jason was stuck at home and was isolated, and she was allowed to go out and live her life. She also liked the fact that she knew that her husband was stuck at home. Kelly would still belittle him and make him feel worthless, though. According to her, she didn't really like being around him, but he was her comfort blanket. He was always there when she needed him, and so that made her comfortable. even though I don't think she liked him.
Yeah.
Kelly
Clearly.
is living, yeah. So Kelly's living her life, keeping her injured puppy at home. She started having an affair with a man named Chris Reagan. He was in his 50s. He was a pretty hardworking man. He was previously married for 28 years and had 2 children from the previous marriage. After he divorced his wife, he moved to the Upper Peninsula to reconnect with an old friend. Terry O'Donnell, and they started dating, but they ended up separating. And that's when Chris started dating Kelly. So Kelly and Chris kept their relationship pretty low key and quiet. But after a while, things started to get more serious. They were actually starting to fall in love. They were seeing each other on a daily basis. They were going on dates, dinners, movies. They would stay the night. She would stay the night at his place. So things were like getting pretty serious.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it took or how, but Jason ended up finding out about Chris. And he felt powerless. Kelly had belittled him so much that he felt like, honestly, she deserved to go find things that he could not provide for her with other people. But this also sent him into a deeper depression, and tried to talk to Kelly about it. And she was just like, shut up.
Again.
The relationship with Chris continued until he got a job in North Carolina, and he was like, hey, I gotta move. You either come with me or we break up. And she's like, can't go with you because you don't know this, but I have someone at home. But Kelly claimed that this crushed her. Like, she was heartbroken over this. So she runs back to Jason and was like, we need to fix us. I want to give us another shot. And, our relationship is so special. I love you and we need to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So they have these long conversations. So Chris is still, like, he told Kelly about this job, but he has not moved yet. So Kelly and Jason are having these long conversations about how to fix their relationship. And guess what comes up, Brie? The blood vows.
Oh, no.
Amongst the other things they could fix or work on, the blood vows is what they decided would fix the relationship. Murdering Chris Reagan was the answer to their problems. So it was never mentioned who the driving force was behind this idea, but I think it was Kelly.
Oh, man. She's like, what do I have to do to prove to you?
Yeah, so considering Jason was more passive, I get he was probably mad at his wife, but Kelly seems to be like a loose cannon.
Oh, my God.
So according to their blood vows, Kelly is the one that is supposed to murder Chris, but Kelly said that she didn't want to do it and convinced Jason to do the killing. So they start to form a plan. They decide that Kelly was going to ask Chris over to their house to have sex. And during the act, Jason would burst into the room and shoot Chris. Why does she have to be doing that with
Yeah,
Chris?
right? Like, you're gonna get one last time with him. Like, why can't you just have him over for coffee?
Exactly. So on the morning of October 14th, Kelly sent a text to Chris inviting him over for a date dinner at her place. And Chris was like, okay, this will be like our last time we see each other before I move. He was barely inside the house and Kelly like attacked him with her advances to initiate sex. Skip the dinner apparently. They were doing their thing and Jason comes out of the shadows and shoots Chris in the back of the head, killing him instantly. After murdering Chris, Kelly and Jason decide to also have sex right beside Chris's dead body.
Ew.
And remember when Kelly got a minor in forensics?
Yes.
Well,
I was wondering when that was going to come into play.
Yep. So she starts cleaning up the crime scene. And all of those college debts that she had is getting paid off. So first they moved Chris's body to the basement and they scrubbed the entire house top to bottom. Then Kelly drives Chris's car to a park and ride about 30 minutes away. I did not know what a park and ride was. It's basically you park your car and then you go like on a train or on a bus or a subway. It's just to like reduce traffic, I guess.
Or carpool with someone.
Yeah, carpool with someone. So
safe place to leave your vehicle.
Yeah. So she was doing that, and Jason went to the neighbor's house and asked if he could use their power saw. And Jason spent the rest of the night dismembering Chris's body, and the neighbors could hear the saw going on throughout the night. They're like, what the heck is he doing over there? So the next day, the neighbors were reported smelling a bad, foul smell coming from Kelly and Jason's house, and even saw Jason burning something in a barrel in the backyard. After all of this, Jason and Kelly, who kept to themselves most of the time in the neighborhood, they were like, we're going to have a neighborhood barbecue and everyone's invited.
Oh, God.
And the neighbors were like, okay. So when the neighbors show up to the barbecue, they reported that Kelly and Jason were serving so much meat. They're like, that is really weird. That's a lot of meat to host. And the neighbors are like, we know you don't make a whole lot of money. That's like at least $200 worth of meat right there.
Oh, my God. No.
So when the neighbors ate the meat, they reported that it tasted weird. It did not taste like chicken. And when the neighbors were like, this tastes weird, Jason was like, oh, it's exotic. I used to work at a butcher and I bought this exotic meat from there. And if you haven't gathered it by now, everybody, after further investigations that happened, it was believed that the meat served at the barbecue was, in fact, the remains of Chris Reagan.
Oh, gosh.
And that's why we don't go over to people's barbecues.
Especially if
know.
we don't know. Yeah.
So Kelly
Oh, my
disposed
God.
the rest of the body.
I'm never going to another like friend's barbecue house. Good thing I don't get invited anywhere.
Can you imagine?
But you know what? Do you know what I hate about it? Is I would probably like what if you enjoyed it? What if you were like, God damn, I'm going for seconds, thirds. And then the reporters are like, yeah, this was a person. And be like, oh man, that was the most disgusting meat. I knew there was something weird about it. And then they're like, dang, I really actually liked it.
Oh no. Oh, I hate it.
I wonder how they never mind, stop. I wonder how they cooked them.
How do you move on from that though? Just the thought of like you had a human.
Those poor neighbors. That sucks.
How do you move on from that? You ate human. It's not like something like, oh, I've had whale before. You ate a living person that
you
was
ate
alive.
one of your own.
You ate one of you cannibal.
You cannibal.
But you didn't know it. So are you a cannibal?
How did also how does that come up in like what an icebreaker in like future conversations?
Never ever human have before. I ever.
I'd probably joke about it the rest of my life, but like I mean just to cover up the trauma.
The trauma.
What kind of meat have you human, Chris?
Oh, like I would just feel so icky. Like I would want to like take my
drink bleach.
Like scrub my insides out.
Yeah, that sounds gross. It does. It really does. I agree. Yeah.
I wonder what type of season. Nope. I don't want to know.
I know. That's what keeps on coming to my mind. Like, did they use barbecue?
Did they season
Did they marinate them?
Brine it? Sounds like it was chicken. You know, do you use a little salt and pepper, lemon pepper? Do you want us to move on, everybody? Probably. Oh!
You're welcome.
What type of sides do they have, though?
What goes with human, though?
What does go with human? Chicken fingers?
Potatoes.
Uh.
Potatoes go with everything.
Okay, so Kelly disposes the body, and it took almost 3 weeks for someone to report Chris was missing because he was kind of like a recluse. And when it was reported, investigators soon found out about Kelly and Chris's affair. Kelly was brought in for questioning. She contradicted herself multiple times. She was also very invasive about what she would say. And she would tell them details about Chris's disappearance that they knew were just flat out lies. Jason and Kelly were prime suspects in the murder, but Kelly had covered her tracks pretty well, leaving the investigators not enough grounds to charge them with murder. Months went by and the investigation was slow, but they were finally able to get Chris's phone and Kelly's phone in the same area, on the little ping tower thing at the time of the murder. Traces of his blood were found in the home, and the neighbor's testimony of the power saw sounds late at night and the exotic meat were all enough grounds for the investigators to close in on them. Kelly and Jason moved in the middle of the night back to Indiana. They were running away, and it actually worked for some reason because the FBI had to get involved because it was now across state lines. So 16 months go by, and the FBI and investigators were finally closing the net in on Kelly and Jason. This whole time, Kelly was also still in contact with investigators. She just text them in the middle of the night, "You up?" Just no, she really wouldn't do that, but she'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" Send them TikToks and memes. She was just so she was in contact with them, just giving them updates about her life, probably sent them Christmas cards. But she did tell them that she was moving. In 2016, investigators told Kelly Jason was feeling the pressure and he was going to crack and tell them everything. Kelly started to panic and truly believed that Jason was going to turn on her. She also believed that she was going to get away with this murder and Jason was going to go down for everything, but only if he doesn't turn on her. So Kelly decided that there was only one option. Jason had to die. So one night in February 2016, Kelly gave her husband, Jason, a huge amount of heroin, and after he passed out, she suffocated him to death. The next morning, she called 911 and told them that she had just woken up and her husband was dead. She claimed that he passed away in his sleep. The services come out and the investigation was open, and it was noticed almost immediately that Jason was murdered. Because one, his autopsy was suffocation, and there was marks around his neck from her suffocating him. So Kelly was charged for Jason's murder immediately, but Chris's body was still not found. He was still technically a missing person, so they told Kelly that Jason had left a note confessing to Chris's murder, which was a lie, but it worked, and Kelly panicked about what could be in that note. She confessed that Jason was the one that murdered Chris and she was not involved at all. But in the confession that she gave, it gave enough for investigators to locate the rest of Chris's remains, which was enough to charge Kelly for Chris's murder. So on February 14th, 2017, which is Valentine's Day, Kelly's trial for Chris's murder started. She was sentenced to life in prison for Chris's death, and then not long later, she took a plea deal for 65 years for Jason's murder. Not long after she gave a full confession to both murders. After all of this, Kelly's brother came forward to the investigators and told them he believes his sister, Kelly, was responsible for up to 9 other murders across the U.S.
What?
When they confronted Kelly about these allegations, she was like, "Oh yeah, She claimed that she buried bodies all over the U.S., Indiana, Minnesota, Michigan, Tennessee. Those bodies have not been found, but there are cold cases that could lead to her being the murderer. Those have not been finalized or anything like that yet. But in her plea deal for Jason's murder, there was a small clause that states that she cannot be charged with any other murder she could have committed. So I don't know who wrote that, but
yeah,
that
right.
was a good. And that was Kelly Cochran.
Dang. Gross. I love that you told that for your sister and future or for your sister and her now husband who are married.
Now husband, happy married day.
Yay.
I wanted to do one that was like the husband killed the wife the night of the night of their wedding, but those are like kind of boring. And also,
you should
it
have
was
told
hard to
me.
find.
There's so many hotels that have wives that kill themselves. I would have done one of those. I didn't think about that. Oh, I feel bad.
Okay, what's your neighborhood story?
That was a good one. Also, don't eat the chicken at your sister's wedding.
Neighbor barbecue. Oh yeah. Oh, don't go to neighborhood barbecues and you don't know them.
All right, this is from Twitter. Is this Molly or MDMA? Does anyone know what pill this is? Pink rectangular tablet with the ID Z3D. Google doesn't show any results. I found it in my son's room and I'm very concerned. Thank you. It's a Pez candy. It says, the comment says, looks like Pez candy to me from a Pez dispenser. You have it upside down. It's P-easy, not P.
I see it. That's so funny.
Goodness, you're silly, Sally. Your kid's
Silly
just
Sally.
taking candy from himself. I don't know.
Probably was pretending that it was some sort of drug, though. Like,
typical.
Would you ever do that? Like, you would take the candy and put it on your tongue and be like, I'm so wasted.
Yep. Smarties candies. Yeah. Take all these pills. Stupid. I knew kids who would snort pixie dust. Ew, that was taking it too far. I'm like, come on, man. That burns. That's awful.
I saw kids do that too.
You're dumb.
Crazy.
Kids are dumb.
Okay, we're gonna get. Yeah. Have you checked in on the neighbors lately?
What's with the neighbors?
Bring
Amy out. Ah! Did you just burp?
Yeah.
Because we got it right. It got it the same time. It worked.
We did? No, not on my end.
Oh. See, that's why we always get it off, because we're the lagging.
Because it's a lag. Say hi to your cats for us.
And that was Piper from Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
And don't get dead. Also, don't forget to send in your cat's meowing for our goodbye message there.
Please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye.